Now, one problem you may face as a designer is the amount of time that you spend on a project. You know, as designers, we are problem solvers. That's what makes design different from art, is there for a purpose, very specifically to solve someone else's pain points. Now, as a designer, I read the 80-20 Principle by Richard Koch, very good book, and it made me realize that some of my efforts are better used elsewhere where I can get better results. So, for example, this YouTube channel, who knows? I'm growing it, but I'm trying it for 30 days. If I feel like I can help better solve people's problems and get my message out there in a better form rather than YouTube, I will put more effort into that form rather than this. However, everything's worth a shot in my eyes. I try to do one thing that scares me every day, and honestly, turning on this camera right now scares me. But we're doing it anyway, you know? Now, I took this mentality of the 80-20 principle and thought, well, if I do my research properly, I try 3 different ways to design something, and I like one more and then really refine that, then that is the process that saves me a lot of time, that gets my clients faster results. However, I found that sometimes when I do this, I get lazy, you know? And one thing that I've been seeing more and more in my work, where I need to set a minimum number of hours that I am going to spend on a certain graphic design problem before I get started. And before I submit a first draft or a final project, I have to hit that minimum number of hours. Even if that is doing 2 hours research and then 5 hours designing, I need to split that up and actually assign time. If I say 2 hours research and I end up taking 4 hours, then I'll do 4 hours. But then I still have to hit my 5 hours of actually doing things and experimenting on the computer. Now, a lot of the times I do get lazy. Like, I recently completed this project of a logo, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not feeling as enthusiastic as I would about another project that I have in the pipeline. I just want to get to that project ASAP. Therefore, I'm just going to speed through this one. I don't want to do that. I only want to put my best work out there, and I know that sometimes I have to hurdle and get to things faster to get to what I really want to get to, which will make me more income in the long run. But at the end of the day, a lot of why I became freelance in the first place was to refine my skill set and actually delve into a wider variety of projects and get my hands working on new and different things. While when I work in-house as a designer in a lot of places, I'm just working on the same skill sets over and over and over again. I get really good at that one thing, but then at a certain point I plateau. Freelance has given me the opportunity that I'm faced with new challenges with every client I get, and I have to learn something new, either about business, about design, about the market. Every day I'm learning something new, which is what really drives me. A lot of people who know me personally know that I absolutely love to learn. So that's why when I suggest that you're feeling burnt out on a project and you feel like you're not putting out your best work, set a timer, turn off your phone, turn off all notifications on your computer. That's something that I did this morning because I realized I was getting texts and I was getting distracted during my work hours. And I just turned it all off. That way, when I actually do go hard in a project, I can just purely focus on that and use my time to the best of my ability. That's really important to me because nowadays your concentration is your biggest asset, you know? A lot of people first said money when money was a thing. The more money you had, the more power. Then it was the more time, because your time could translate into money and you could leverage your time better and then use money to compound on money. Now it is more so attention, because even if you have the time to do it, that time may not be focused. So really set down, put it on a timer for an hour. That's always what gets me started. I put a timer on for an hour and I'm like, if I do not feel this project today, I can shut down after an hour of work. But what tends to happen is I get really excited. Like today, I was finishing up that logo that I was talking about and about to send it to the client. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go above and beyond. And I actually feel so excited and feel like my work is so good on this project that I will animate it for the client and get them something a little bit extra. I always love to do that in my projects. Give them something a little bit extra. And I was able to learn something new today, which was a glitch effect that I really wanted to learn and I've always wanted to implement in my work. And then finally, I just took the time, took half an hour out of my day and did it. this was on top of that hour that I set out to do that design today. And a lot of people say, oh, well, if I know I can do it right the first time, why do it again? Because when it comes to design, it's basically a career path and an art of perfectionism. And I used to be very perfectionist, and then I got off that track, and now I'm just reeling back around. It's a cycle of knowing where to be a perfectionist. If someone is paying you a high price for something, then you need to deliver that perfectly. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to raise my own prices, trying to deliver a higher quality product to my clients, and that's requiring me to get back into this perfectionist mindset. And that's what, when I went to school, a lot of my professors said. They said the difference between art directors and designers were the perfectionism mentality. Now, I think fundamentally I'll lack that forever. However, I am trying to leverage my business so that I can hire designers who are even more talented than me, honestly. And I just simply structure deals, and I structure getting clients, and I work through them in that way. So a huge reason why I'm putting out this channel is it's kind of my asset to get my ideas out there. It's almost like my daily journal. Even though I don't make these videos daily, I put them out daily so that I can just get all my thoughts through the week. Throughout my week, I even put in my notes app different ideas for videos. This was one of those ideas that I just refreshed on, you know? And at the same time, I'm still speaking from my core and getting it out there into the world. And I've noticed the more and more time I just set out to record videos, the better quality content I get. This video will not be below 10 minutes because I say it won't be, you know? And I'm just getting better at my craft and better at delivering value to you as a viewer by doing that. Simple as that, you know? And that's what design is. It's about, to me at least, getting better every single day. And that's what I use it for. For me, without progress, something tends to lose its flair, you know? I went rock climbing the other day, and rock climbing, it's very hard to track progress, I find, because it is a skill where every day you face a new problem and whatnot, and you have no real comparison to things. And that's why I'm just not into it as much as some of my friends. I do like it because it challenges me, and anything that challenges me, I tend to gravitate towards. However, it's harder for me to track that progress. While with my design work, I actually see as my portfolio grows, I can view out old work and new work, and I just drag things to the bottom or even take it out of my portfolio if I feel like it no longer represents me. A lot of the work that I have been doing freelance recently, I've been putting into my portfolio because I think it represents me well still. And these are the types of projects that I really enjoy. Even when I do submit to design competitions, I kind of just gave myself the time to just get everything out, and I ended up winning a design competition out of that. I dedicated 4 hours of my life, or actually, you know what? Because they thought tons of people will submit to it, tons of designers will be more talented than me, I actually set out only 2 hours of my day to complete the design problem for the client. And I ended up spending 4 or 5 hours on it and being like, wow, I really enjoy this. And then ended up submitting my results, you know? And that's how I ended up winning the competition, is I did take more time to complete the problem. And originally I only had 3 ideas for a template for them. There was basically some design competition where a website, they wanted different backgrounds. And I had 3 ideas for backgrounds, and I just went one on top of the other, and I thought at first the concepts themselves were good. And then I had this idea for a 4th and 5th one, and then I created those just because I was inspired to. Even after that, I decided to tweak each one, use different textures, mess with the placement of things a little bit, just to really nail down one really good design. And out of the 4 I submitted at the end of the day, one of them got chosen as a winner, and people really liked it. It's probably the most used out of the whole competition. One other of mine won, and I think some people are using it. However, it's just cool to see your work being used in the end. And I know if I didn't spend so much time refining that one design, literally I worked on the textures for that one design, like in trying to think like 4 different ways. And that honestly took me a large portion of my time, because once I had the overall layout set up, it was mostly fine tuning, and that's what you're paid for as a designer. You're paid to fine tune things, and that's why people like your brands, because at the end of the day, anyone can learn Photoshop or learn Illustrator and then put something out there. People are doing it on Canva all the time. It's what can you make that's really unique and different from everyone else, and how can you use your brain to put that out there. I am paid not only for my hands of knowing the different softwares, but I'm paid to take someone's verbal communication, try to read their mind basically. I'm hired as a mind reader, and in a visual aspect, and then try to bring that to life using my hands. First have an image in my head, then put it on the screen, you know? And that's what I really like about this work. It is that challenge of throughout the process, having that vision from someone else, taking that vision, sculpting it into your own vision that will be slightly better, then taking that vision and reiterating and iterating again on your hands. And then sometimes your vision isn't even the best viable product. Sometimes your vision is the basis for it, and then your hands just naturally like do something. Even if you make a mistake, you're like, dang, I placed that wrong, but that looks really good now. Gives a little bit more depth and a little bit more rhythm to the composition, and it ends up being a better product because you were able to experiment with it more. And that's what I really like about design, is it's all experimentation. One of the beautiful things about graphic digital design is you can experiment basically to your heart's content. You just keep on copying and pasting the image, file, logo, whatever over, tweak it a bit, and keep doing that, and you can compare side by side. It's basically a science, and I've always been drawn to science and mathematics because at the end of the day, there is one right answer that you will submit to the client, but you can experiment, tweak, iterate, and I even test audiences. I get my flatmates to come in and be like, hey, which one of these looks better to you? That's how I use design, and that's why you should spend more time on specific graphic design problems. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like, comment how your different profession, design world, how you can use time to really leverage that and increase the viability of your product. And then feel free also to contact me at talon.in.color on Instagram, or at Escape Your Hometown if you want more lifestyle travel content. I'm currently recording this video from Sydney, Australia. And if you want, feel free to click this video over here. It's a video on why I went freelance versus going full-time. And so you could get a debate a little bit going in your head whether you want to go freelance or just work somewhere. Hope you have an epic day.